Okay, cool. So what we'll do is we're going to scroll down. On the left side, you see where it says Slider Revolution. So I'm going to open up Slider Revolution. And so see, Dream Theme is the theme that I use. So if I click on that, it's going to bring up an editor for the slider. So let me show you how this relates to what you actually see on the other side. So if we scroll down, so you can see the final thing, and if I go down, do you see on the bottom left where it says play? So if I click play, you can kind of see the process it goes through as a loop, right? So on the actual page, oops, where's Traptease? Yeah. So in the actual page, what we had before was where there was a little button on the side. If you click the button, what that does is it brings up a whole new slide, right? So if you're going to have it, I know you want to be able to, I think what your goal is to show more shirts than just two of them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right, so it's a completely different slide each time, right? It's not like, so when you were saying that you want to have it click the button and have a new shirt slide through, I think that would be probably not possible with it, but you can have new slides. You know what I mean? Like I would probably use, because even here you see he's got like a different picture and different text each time, as opposed to just having the same, button or something. So if that's the kind of, yeah, so that's what I would, if you're gonna do something, I would have like new text and new graphics, not just new, yeah, because, yeah, sure, yeah. So let me show you how this works a little bit. So, okay, so you see background image, right? So right now your background image is set to that, kind of looks like the background, the wallpaper that's there, that like board, wood, kind of wooden board, or almost looks like siding on a house. So you have that, and then you've got your different, this kind of, so this is t-shirts, this is, each of these are your two shirts. This is t-shirts, I believe. This used to say summer collection, and then we changed it to Traptease collection. And this used to say like find your perfect t-shirt, and now it says coming soon. Now, obviously you can add more of these, and you can, if you click on any of these and you want to change the text, you see the icon that just turned blue up here at the top? So if I click that, then I can change the actual text. Because I know it's a little bit weird because like this one, it says summer collection, but it says Traptease collection. So I know that that's a little bit confusing. And what it is this like item is called summer collection. You could call it anything you want, right? And this, whatever you call it up here, will match up with it. Should match up with it down. Oops. Which one? This is summer collection. Yeah, whatever name you give it here, it's kind of like a label because not everything is text, right? So like your t-shirts. So if I click on image 5, that says image 5 up here because that's like a label that's being attached to that object. Yeah, it's like if we, could there could be a million things that you type into this thing instead of Traptease collection, but this thing is just a label for the object. Just like, I could change this from, Yeah, like I could change this one to what is it, Black Pharaoh, I think. I think that's how you spell Pharaoh. I could, no, that doesn't look right. Right, so it's not actually changing the image, but it's changing the name of it, which, you know, if that might be useful for kind of organizing your stuff a little bit. I'm not sure. Uh, and then you could see down here that now it became Black Pharaoh. So the reason that I bring this up, down here, yeah. If you click on the pen, it comes up here and you could type in anything you want. Um, and so let's say that you want to make another one, right? Okay, you can change the fonts around. So if you go up here, so for a slider, so you could bring in a font. The trouble is that if the person who's watching that views the website doesn't have that font, sometimes you can run into issues. So there's kind of like some very common, like the Google fonts are kind of common. But I mean, you have a ton that you can mess with in here that'll come through. But usually I try to stick to Google fonts because if it just nothing sucks more than seeing the website and everything looks good on your computer and then you come and realize that on someone else's computer that they're seeing something completely different. What I wanted to show you is that if you want to make another slide, so layers go onto one slide. So like this thing here is a text layer. This is a text layer. The El Chapo, this is an image layer. So if you want to add more layers to one slide, you can drop in more things using this. Okay, but if you want to have a new slide, then what I would probably recommend is you could either go to Add Slide and do a blank slide, or what you could do is take the one you have and duplicate it. So that's like if you're trying to do something like history, like because notice here, like with history, they overlap, right? So the text and the buttons, they overlap from one slide to the next. See how it's like the same positions? So if I were you, I would probably do a duplicate, because if I do duplicate, then I automatically have everything in the same place. So now if I click over, yeah, that's fine. We don't have any changes that we're making. If I go over to slide number 2, now I at least know that I'm starting out with everything in the same places. So I could come in here, and I could say, all right, you know, maybe instead of t-shirts, now it's going to be hoodies. And maybe instead of trap tees collection, it'll say, you know, yeah, you could do that. And you could change the background too. So the background is up here. So change background image is this button. And that way everything is still going to be lined up, consistent. Even the t-shirts, you know, you could take this one and pop in a replacement image instead of that way, so everything kind of lands. Oh, by the way, yeah, I used the pencil. All right. So I could throw this one in there. Is this a PN? Okay, so here's something I wanted to point out to you. You see how this is a JPEG? And you see how, oops, somewhere. You see how this is a PNG? So the PNGs are what you call transparent. So do you see on this image how around the edge of the Chapo you can see what's behind it? With a PNG, you can set it up so that you can see like through parts of the image. With a JPEG, it's always going to be completely solid. So if you, now the trouble is that so the trade-off is this, a PNG is usually a larger file size. So you can have transparency, but you might have a bigger file size. But for this particular thing where you want to have it so you can see through parts, you'd want to have a PNG there. Yeah, I mean, does the PNG and JPEG thing make sense? Okay. And the other thing, so you can actually see this a little bit. Where the hell is trapeze? So if I scroll down here, so like you notice that the Play It Cool one has, you could see like a border around the shirt. And you see how Black Pharaoh, you can see a border around the shirt? Yeah. So there's two different ways to do it. Either you could use perfect white, so if you actually get a perfectly white background, then it will match the rest of the screen. The other thing you could do is if you use a PNG and that's transparent, then it will you'll be able to see right through to the white. Yeah, so you could either, exactly. And I could even show you. Let me do you ever use Photoshop? Do you have access to Photoshop or anything like that? Illustrator? Okay. So, for example, I think I made one of these transparent. So I'll just show you real quick the little trick that you use. So let's say that I know Photoshop more than I know Illustrator, but I think the steps are the same. So with Photoshop, you can use, there's kind of two different ways. Sorry, it's loading still. Okay. So I could use something called a magnetic lasso, which is where you kind of click around it. I could do that type of thing and go all the way around the shirt and then get rid of the background that way. The other thing that you could use is something called a magic wand, where you click it once and it automatically selects the surrounding area. So now if I hit delete, I'm going to lose, yeah, if I hit delete, it automatically just got rid of the background, which you can't really see because it was very subtle. But it goes from off-white to white when I click it. It's very subtle. And if you're having trouble with the magic wand, you can mess around with the tolerance, because that will tell how close it picks to the t-shirt. So like it's not always perfect. So like if I had a low tolerance, you see how like now all of a sudden around the edges, it's not quite matching up. Oh, damn. Yeah, man. I'm sorry. Okay. That was a stupid moment for me. Because I'm recording this thing, I did it on my computer thinking that you were able to see it. That was. Yeah, let me, I'm putting it down. Transparent for other t-shirts. Okay. Now, I'm trying to make some notes, and I thought that I forgot that we were on your computer screen, not mine. It was kind of stupid of me. All right. Sure, but I at least it's in the video, though, so you'll see the recording. You see, yeah. So does this stuff on the slider make sense? Say again? So what it is a new slide. So keep in mind, so here's the mix-up. So a layer, you could have lots and lots of layers on each slide. And then this, yeah. So right now what we have is we have two slides, and each slide has, let's see, there's, about 5 layers on this particular slide. The text, each of these text boxes is a layer, and each t-shirt is a layer. Oops, what happened? I clicked on something, I think. From here? Okay. Should there be, I know this is going to sound stupid, should there be a dash or no? Okay, yeah. Okay. Like that? Cool. So not all capitals? Oop, I spelled it wrong. Is it like that with caps or no? Cool. Okay. And then make sure you save it. So up there, see, I don't know if you noticed there in the top right, there's a green button. Because that'll suck if you do a bunch of work on it and you don't save it. I've done that before, definitely. Okay. Cool. Let me